What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the ClaireMont Show. I'm Lamont, that is,
Claire.
and we've got the kind of show today that if you're a MAGA, you better put on your chin straps and your jock straps because you're going to get rattled today. We're going to talk about immigration and the horrible atrocities that have happened in immigration. We're going to discuss that. We're going to also cover the hypocrisy of MAGA women and how they bring down women as a whole. We've got that. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy of MAGA men. We've got that. But more importantly, we got another surprise for you. And if you want to catch this whole thing in its entirety, please go to beacons.ai/politics of being black. There you can click on me and Claire's show. You can click on the podcast. You can click on our YouTube. Everything is under one house. Beacons.ai/politics of being black. Link is in description. Claire, name one thing that MAGA men are more afraid of than having to read a Black History book on Juneteenth or waking up finding out that they are butterball naked in the middle of a gay pride parade. What's something that makes them more afraid than that?
A woman in a hijab.
Close, but no cigar. What makes them more afraid is a highly educated, highly intelligent, good-looking, progressive woman. And Claire, I've got that. MAGA men, I've got me not a wrestler for political politics progressively, but a brawler. I've got me a human wrecking machine of a woman for progressive politics. Here's what she looks like.
So you're not going to believe what happened in Iowa. 88 kids were just rescued from a Bible camp. Let that sink in, a Bible camp. 88 children were just rescued as a part of a human trafficking ring. This wasn't some sketchy compound in the middle of nowhere, and it wasn't anybody that is a part of the LGBTQIA community. This was a Bible camp. Authorities say they were...
Ladies and gentlemen, she joins us right now. After the intro, you'll see Tabitha. Let's get it.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
There she is, ladies and gentlemen, the progressive human wrecking machine, Tabitha. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. The human wrecking ball. Listen, I'm going to coin it. Are you kidding me? Perfection.
Claimed.
Look, that's what we do here, Tabitha. We give you the credit you deserve because we know by reading comments at times you're not getting the credit you deserve from the opposition because they're delusional. And we want you and everyone we bring on to know that you are not delusional. And that's why we do this. That's exactly why we do this. And please go and support this sister. Her link is in the video description. She does great, amazing work on her TikTok. And by the way, you can get the links to everything me and Claire do by going to Politics of Being Black, beacons.ai. If you need to see the link, it looks just like this. Go down there, subscribe. You get all we're doing. Claire, tell her about the thing we do to show love to the women of I Had It.
So it started as petty grievance living under MAGA rule. Mm-hmm. And then we have since pivoted it to pay a little homage to the I've Had It podcast, which that is something that we someday would love to get on, just throwing it out there.
I love that.
We love their approach to comedy, politics, and they just keep it so real. So that's kind of what we try to do here in a bit of a different way. But we are going to dive into our segment of I've Had It. So all of us are going to bring our own petty grievance, and it could be very deep and sad, or it could be pretty lighthearted and funny. But Lamont, you want to start with Tabitha?
Tabitha, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let us give you the music so you can get going. Here we go. We've had it with Tabitha. What have you had it with, Tabitha?
I have had it with MAGA, the cult of MAGA. I am done with the excuses, the way that they move the goalposts, the bar that keeps getting lower and lower and lower. I am so sick of all of you. I'm so sick of getting called the tolerant left when I go off on you about human rights violations. I'm not the tolerant left.
No.
I've had it with MAGA as a whole, the cult of MAGA.
Period.
Claire, respond, please.
That is what fuels me when I wake up in the morning.
Same.
Is I'm going to use their own terms too. Not owning the libs. No, we're owning the maggots. The maggots. The maggots. And yes, we're spelling that with MAGA in it, but envisioning fly larva. Okay. Nothing irks me more than people who don't respond to logic. And Lamont and I, we try to live in the world of logic. I don't think that it's that hard. I think that A is followed. Guys, sorry, I know it's super controversial. By B.
Wild.
And B. Whoa. Wait, hold on. B is actually followed by C. It's so crazy. The way that I keep saying this, Lamont, I can explain it to you until I'm dry in the mouth, but I can't understand it for you. And if you don't have the capacity to think from any other angle than your shallow, blinders on worldview, there's nothing I can do anymore. It's frustrating when you know that you're good at debating, or at least you know that you're informed and you want to have a meaningful conversation of some sort. And it's truly fallen on deaf ears. That's the best way that I could put it. So with you, sister. Over it.
I'm with you, Tabs, to the point of I'm so with both of y'all that I've tried to research how did you break through to someone like MAGA? And what we find is that they are delusioned, Tabitha. There is a clinical reason they behave the way they behave. They're delusioned. And me and Claire have talked about how you have to deal with people who are delusioned. And basically what MAGA does, every time they use that term, Democrats are snowflakes, they're projecting what they really are. Because people who are delusioned, you have to speak to them in a way where you can't bombard them with facts or they hunker down more, that's what children do. You can't legitimately talk to them and have a good discussion without them arguing like kids. Well, what about this? And what about that? You literally have to let them guide the conversation, back them into a corner, and then lure them into the truth by telling some composite story. And hell, ain't none of us folk tellers up here. We not sitting around a damn campfire letting spells and shit up in there. We ain't got time for that shit. But all that was said, I'm with you, Tabs. Just wanted to let you know. We're all with you.
Thank you. And they talk about the TDS because I see that all the time. That coined that Trump derangement syndrome. I think they all have it. I think it goes to them. Like, we are okay. We're good. I don't know. I'm glad you guys are on board with me.
Oh, we're on board.
We're driving the bus.
Exactly.
We're right there with you.
Yes, Claire's flying the airplane. I'm driving the bus. Okay. So Claire, what have you had it with?
All right, this is going to be a little more lighthearted. And okay, before I do this, Tabitha, do you have a dog?
I do.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what kind of dog do you have?
She's a Rhodesian Ridgeback. She's a rescue. I foster dogs.
Oh, good. Yeah, we with that. Okay. We definitely with that.
So this is controversial, and it's because obviously most of I've had it. If the MAGAs are listening, they're going to be triggered. This could trigger people all along the political spectrum. So that's why I wanted to preface with that. I don't care about whoever is listening. They'll take this with a grain of salt, but I did not want to offend you, my special guest. That being said, I have had it with the goddamn doodles. I'm so done with the doodles. I cannot. So I live in Charlotte. Doodle, I think it's doodle capital of America. Everybody has some sort of allergy that prevents them from having a long-haired dog, but they don't think poodles are cute enough or popular enough. So then they come and they take a beautiful breed like a golden retriever, and then they put this fucking high energy, extremely intelligent, but in all the wrong ways breed, and they mix it all together, and you get very untrainable, very aggressive dogs, high energy dogs. And then you get owners who are already getting the dog because they want low maintenance, because they don't want to deal with fur, they don't want to deal with allergies. And they're getting a high maintenance dog in every other capacity, and they don't fucking train them. So I'm a dog lover. I grew up with at least 2 dogs at a time in our household, mostly labs and golden retrievers. But that being said, I've been bitten twice by dogs in my life. Both times the dogs were kind of spooked. Actually, no, one time the dog was spooked. I was on a run. It was weird. I ran past the dog, and I think they thought that I was going to like do something to their owner, and they bit my butt as I ran by and broke through my leggings, and it broke my skin just a little bit. Thank God I can sew. I sewed those leggings back up, but I was like, what? And that was a doodle. And then one of my neighbors has a doodle, or my mom's neighbor. And I went over there one time to like borrow like a screwdriver or something. I don't even know what it was. It was some sort of tool. And I went in the front door. The dog had greeted me, had already said hi to me. And then I'm walking through the foyer talking to my neighbor, and from behind me, I feel something bite my ass. I don't know if doodles just like they love the cake. I don't know what's going on, but I've been bitten twice in the ass by doodles, and I'm so over them. So on top of that,
Claire, those dogs thought you were New York. They want to take a bite out of the Big Apple.
Bro, I'm like, I know I'm carrying some weight back there, but Jesus, learn some manners. Buy me buy me some dinner. My God. Anyway, adding on to that, my sister has a rescue that is pretty much every single dog you can think of mixed into one dog. He kind of looks like a pit bull mix, but he's also got German Shepherd and a little bit of chow chow. Like, he's got a bunch going on. But anyway, he's black, and I talk to Lamont about this all the time, but people are racist as hell towards him, and he is the sweetest, most gentle dog. And I also see lots of doodle people trying to racially profile my little pity mix when I go and take him on walks, and I'm like, y'all don't realize you're the one with the criminal. You're the one with the criminal. And then lastly, I'm gonna close this with owning huskies, buying huskies from a breeder while living south of the Mason-Dixon is animal abuse. And I'm so sorry to break it to people who just love a husky, but these dogs were bred to live outdoors in Alaska.
In the cold.
Permanently. Like, they still do this. They literally are bred to sit outside in a pack and just hang out in snow all day. And y'all are going to bring them to the heat and humidity that me, a naked animal, can barely handle. Like, and they've got however many layers and undercoats. It's just sad. And every time I see one walking around, I'm like, I'm so sorry that your owner clearly doesn't love you enough to move north or to buy another dog. Cause it's clear that they were bred. So you're also buying, you're investing money in this breed, and you're doing it in a place that it just doesn't make sense. So closing with that, be conscious if you want to get a dog. Don't be an asshole. Don't be racist. And train your damn dog if you're going to get a doodle, but just don't get one.
Just don't get one.
Your response, Tabitha.
Well,
you get it first, Tabitha.
Because I also am in Charlotte, and it is the doodle capital. And
what?
Yeah, like
what? You're in Charlotte? Girl, let's get coffee. It's happening. I had
oh my
no
gosh,
idea.
it has to happen. Are you kidding
And
me?
Tabitha, I'm in Greensboro.
Stop. We're all neighbors.
We're North Carolinians just fighting the good fight, you know?
Fighting
Here
the
we
good
are.
fight.
We're just trying, holding on.
We're
But
doing
yeah,
our
the
best.
doodles, my neighbor had 2 doodles. Thank God they moved because they were aggressive. Well, they were
Very
racist too.
aggressive.
My neighbors were racist too. So I'm glad that they
Oh.
moved. They moved to Rock Hill. So
I mean, and that's why I wasn't really worried about that. Of course, they moved to Rock Hill. Thank you.
South
but,
Carolina.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't really super worried about this because a lot of the people who do get doodles tend to at least be on the MAGA or at least the Rhino Republican kind of side of things. You're probably not going to buy a rescue if you're one of those people.
probably not. Probably not. And as somebody like I said, I foster puppies for, it's called Destination Puppy Rescue. They're based out of Charlotte. So for somebody that like fosters puppies, there's so many dogs that you could adopt. And
Yes.
just because like, and don't give me the excuse, there's not this many people with dog allergies. There's not this many people in the
They're
Carolinas
just lazy.
with
They
dog
don't want to deal
allergies.
with long hair or whatever. I don't know. Doodles
It's
shed
so
too,
frustrating.
right? I mean, doodles
They
shed.
shed, yeah, they still shed.
It's not
just
like
like
they're
people,
hairless.
just like our hair falls out, you know, like they shed.
Right. Not as much as certain breeds, but my pit bull barely sheds or whatever he is. So I'm like, just get one of those. There's plenty of them sitting at the shelter that need you, and they're kind and sweet. It also goes into stereotyping dogs and humans. I mean, we could do an entire show talking about the parallels of how we put people in boxes, put dogs in boxes, associate them with certain things. But yeah, I'm with you, girl.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Adopt,
Sick
don't
of
shop.
it. Sick of it.
Yeah, period.
Now, my only response to all that, because I've never had to experience what you guys have gone through with the doodles, is my experience would be this. I would just say, I just want those MAGA folks to treat black people with at least the same respect you treat the damn dog, not less. That's it.
Right. It's super. Hey, Lamont, you're getting a little radical here. I think you need to reel it in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I'm really about to piss them off with what I've had it with.
Ooh,
okay,
let's go.
Now this is more. This I wouldn't even say it's political. It's just doing the right thing. And sometimes even that gets on my nerves when people start trying to put you and call you political when you are saying the right thing to do. And this one is a subject we're going to cover today. MAGA women trying to placate the egos of fucking MAGA men by voting for all this shit that ruins all women. I've had it. We all got mothers as men. Most of us have wives. Some of us have daughters. And even if you don't have none of that shit, you should let women vote on matters that deal with women. MAGA women, stop voting for shit that pulls down women who can walk, chew gum, and hurl through the air juggling fiery balls and still get an education. That shit bothers me to no end. If you want to be a homemaker, if you don't want to work, if you want to just use whatever good looks you have to get through life, fine, so be it. But don't vote for that shit. Vote to let women do what they want to do, because at the end of the day, what the MAGA men are doing, they're trying to segregate you to only having the choice to have to deal with them and their asses. And when you vote against shit that uplifts all women, you're trying to box these women who've had to go through so much in the first damn place just to say they're equal to men. So I've had it with MAGA women. Tabitha, response. Tell me if I'm too harsh.
No, you are not too harsh. There is nothing I despise more in the MAGA cult than the MAGA women, because you vote against your own rights. My question to MAGA women is, did he pick you yet? Were you picked? Did he pick you yet? Because guess what? They're in my inbox all the time while I'm reading them to filth. They want a woman with education. As much as you guys want to pander to their needs, they don't want you. And they're not going to pick you. Pearl. You know what I mean? Like, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
They are next level pick me women. And they're never going to get picked. And if they are, they're going to get walked all over.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Because they don't have options usually, and
No.
looks fade. Passing it to you, Claire.
Girl, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I don't even know where to begin. The pick me culture, and again, it depends on where you are in the country, but it is super strong in Charlotte. And I feel like every girl that I meet, it's like a flip of a coin. Are you here to find an investment banker and sign away the rest of your life so that you can be a doormat? And it's hard because there are men who do want to genuinely provide for those women and don't look down on them. But how are you going to know? And if he does someday become a different man, you're fucked. You are fucked.
Point.
It's such a gamble to put your key in someone else's pocket and expect them to keep unlocking doors for you. Someday they might throw that key away. And what power are you going to have then? What if he cheats on you? What if he, like there's all these different things that are going to happen, and people are signing up for situations where they know that they are in an unfair power dynamic. And by people I'm saying women. And it's so hard because I think a lot of feminists like me and Tabitha are like, don't ask what the patriarchy, what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. Sorry. Oh my God. That was I just had an aneurysm. But no, but you get what I'm saying? Like, use what you can, I don't want feminism to take us where it's like nobody ever opens doors or ever offers to like take care of things for us. I don't want chivalry to completely die, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like leaning super far into that, you are putting your power somewhere else. And so it's like, if you have, I waited on a couple I'm a waitress, but I waited on a couple last night, and they have a 1-year-old, and the guy was like a software engineer. Sweetest couple. I would love to hang out with them. They seem like really great people. And he kept saying that like she was a nurse, and that she, ever since they had their kid, I think she felt guilty of probably talking to me like a server in my early 20s. She didn't want to be like, oh yeah, and I don't have to work anymore. Like, she was trying to be very conscious, but she was like, yeah, just with us, it just kind of made sense with having a kid and the cost of childcare, like for me to stop working. And I'm like, babe, if you can afford it, hell yeah. Don't go send your child to someone else if you all as a household can afford that. But don't marry someone so that you can become a nanny. That's sad. That is imprisonment, and you are losing years of experience that in your 40s, if he decides he doesn't want you anymore, you are going to have to re-enter the workforce. I don't care what the alimony is, unless he's a billionaire, you're going to have to work, and you're going to be 20, 30 years behind other women and men who are your age. So all that to say, pick me culture, the KKK Carolines of the world, even the ones who do have power, even the ones who do have a job, they are still catering not just to men, but to the worst men in the country, the scum of the fucking earth, the men who see them as pawns. And same thing with Black people that they try to bring into the movement. Same thing with Hispanic people they try to bring in. It's always, look at our token Black friend or our token woman who makes us look like we aren't racists. No, you just found the one racist Black person you could, or the one, like, you're not proving any point here by bringing on these women who are bleached blonde to the point that their brain doesn't work anymore, and who have melanoma covering their whole body because they've been sitting in Florida under the sun. And they're not.
I heard the sun is hotter in Florida than it is North Carolina. I mean, I'm just saying.
You can feel it. But all of that to say, and I'm going to close with, like, I had a really good point. Where was I going to go with that? MAGA people. Yes. I dated a guy a couple years ago. I've talked about this with Lamont. He was raised very conservative. He was very good looking, former college athlete, like all those things that we are like, over 6 feet, over 6 figures. Blah, blah, blah. So he fit all of those things. I'm like, oh, great. Like, this is great. He was attractive. We had we had a lot in common. And then we started diving into religion and politics. And I was like, oh, shit. And I quickly realized he had all these opportunities to be with girls who were pick-me's. And his main complaint from his previous relationship was she was so boring. Like, my ex was just so boring. Like, she was so easy and she was just lazy, and she didn't have, he kept saying she didn't challenge me, and you challenge me. And I was like, yeah, but that's because you're wrong a lot of the time. Like, because we dated before Trump ran again. And so this was a couple years ago, but I think he did vote for Trump in 2016. And I think a lot of those men see liberal women like us, or leftists, or however, progressives, as a challenge, well, yeah, there's these pick-me women left and right, but they're easy. It's easy. I can already tell that they're dressing for me. They're talking for me. They are setting up their career and their lifestyle for me. And it's just kind of boring. And then they see women like us and they're like, oh, she's hot and she's confusing. And she's got a lot to say. And she brings things up that I would never think about. But at the end of the day, their masculinity and their misogyny always trumps whatever you have to say. So even if you make a good point, they're still going to be like, oh, that was interesting, but she's a woman.
Yeah, the but always follows it.
But exactly.
There's always a but.
Opinion to some degree, because it's different and it's interesting and they're attracted to you. That opens the door for a lot of women. They might actually listen to you for 4 seconds because they want to have sex with you. And then they might go, this is too much, she scares me. Or they might go, ooh, this is a challenge. And it's just funny because either way, why aren't you just embracing it as this is a woman who can teach me things, and coming with a sense of humility? It's always with a sense of arrogance that they challenge progressive women.
Right.
So I've said my 2 cents. Tabitha, I want you to jump back in if you want, and Lamont as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could not agree more. Like you said, the pick-me culture is running rampant. And I know it's not just in Charlotte. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Social media promotes it too, for sure.
They really do. I mean, with the trad wives and this and that. Like, don't get me wrong. I bake my own sourdough. Okay, like I'm in here cooking I'm Armenian. I cook every meal 3 meals a day. First generation. Like, so I be cooking. Okay. But I'm also working. I'm also making sure that my voice is heard. I'm also a delegate for my state. I'm also doing all these things that need to get done, right? And it, like you said, it makes me so mad that women are just okay handing over control. We're losing rights by the day. Women are getting used as incubators. Women are losing babies, right? Like they're losing the ability to have children because of these draconian laws in place. And they're just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't talk politics. Like, what do you mean you don't talk politics? It makes me so mad.
I mean, I don't know. Feminists hate men. I don't hate men.
And that's just like such a misconception. Like, we don't hate men. We just want rights. We want equal rights. We want equal pay. We want equality for everybody, not just women, like for everyone. I don't understand why that's such a hard concept. Like,
I'll tell you why.
Expression when you are the privileged person.
And control. Power does not want to give up control. They want to control women. They want to control you so they can do whatever the hell they want to do, and you're subjugated to what they allow you to do. But having said that, we'll go ahead and jump into our subjects today. And because my friend Claire loves to talk, we're going to have 2 subjects we're going to cover today. But I signed up for this because I know she loves to talk, and I love to hear her talk. So that's why we come together. The old school meets the new school, to come together for a better school of progressive thought. That's our motto on the ClaireMont Show. Yes, and first thing we're going to cover that deals with everything they just got finished talking about, including me, is an immigration situation that turned very nasty, and it deals with women's rights. And the next subject we're going to cover is dealing with women's rights too. But this one is when I was telling you ladies how you break through the delusion of MAGA. You have to tell a sad story or a compelling story, because everybody in MAGA still thinks WWE wrestling is real. This is going to help tell a compelling story. So first we're going to have an immigration guy speak, but then we're going to have this story about a lady who was in an immigration camp, handcuffed, telling these guys she's pregnant, and they denied her care. Her baby died. We'll get into that right now. Take a look at this. Shout out to the girls at I've Had It. You guys brought this story to my attention first, and here we go.
My officers and agents walk into danger so other people can sleep safely at night, so kids can make it to school safely and play outside. So while it's easy to be an armchair quarterback and make up talking points that get activists riled up, the bottom line is my officers and agents are out there protecting the same people who are threatening their safety. Law enforcement's common sense. Politicians need to stop putting my people in danger. I'm not asking them to stop. I'm demanding that they stop. Here's what I have to say to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and anyone else stirring up the outrage about what ICE does. These are real people with real families you're hurting with your ridiculous rhetoric and inflammatory comments. And it's time to remember that.
You know, Todd Lyons, the real people with real families are the people who are going to Home Depot to get supplies for a day job that they're working on that Americans won't do. Miller, a mother who was 5 months pregnant, who just found out she and her American citizen fiance were having a boy, lost her baby after federal agents in a detention center repeatedly denied her pleas for prenatal care, lived and worked in Tennessee for years, detained by ICE for over a month, forced to sleep on prison cell floor, served food with cockroaches, said she was starving and having stomach pains. Guards told her it was normal, begged to be deported so at least she could get prenatal care in Guatemala. ICE refused. She delivered her stillborn baby in front of 2 guards who shackled her feet. Then for 2 days, she wasn't allowed to call her fiance or talk to anyone. She cried alone and was deported to Guatemala shortly after the stillbirth. And so this is just a prime example of the breathtaking hypocrisy that lives in many middle Americans' lives. They say they're pro-life, and then when you present this in front of them, they're fine with it.
Tabs, you get first dibs on this. This irks my nerves so bad. The cruelty. There's people in MAGA that bust nuts off this type of cruelty that should not have happened. Why are you not listening to this woman? Men, you know what a pregnant belly looks like. Don't even give me this fucking shit. Why is no one coming to help this woman? And now she's not going to have this child because y'all was over here dicking around playing cards, having her shackled, feeding her cockroach food while she's trying to deliver a baby. And I always have to show this to when I have a subject this heavy that bothers me so bad, I have to calm down by showing y'all my daughter. So MAGA, are you listening? This woman could have had one of those. And because of your cruelty, your lack of empathy, your unbelievable hypocrisy, she didn't. Floor is yours first, Tabitha.
You know, first of all, my heart is so heavy because of all the cruelty. Cruelty is the point with this administration, and I think that we see that, right? But I'm so sick of their pro-life bullshit rhetoric that they spew on a daily basis. You are not pro-life, MAGA. You are pro-forced birth. Period. Full stop. End of story. They are so engulfed in this white replacement theory, Christian nationalist bullshit that they don't care about the brown people that are pregnant, bringing life into this world. Because this is one story. This is one story of one woman, of many, many. Okay, because there was another story of a woman who miscarried. Another, just one story. Imagine how many other people are in these detention facilities that are overcrowded. They're not getting enough water. They're eating food with fucking, can I cuss? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
With cockroaches in it. Like, what are we doing? Where is the humanity? What happened to empathy? The problem with America is we are so individualistic. We don't give a shit about our neighbors. We don't give it. And that showed during COVID when nobody wanted to wear masks because it protected other people. But they can wear masks, and these men put underwear over their fucking face to snatch people off the goddamn streets.
Right.
It's so cruel. This woman deserves so much better. They chained her while she gave birth. They chained her while she gave birth to a stillborn child, okay?
What was her crime? What was her crime? We chained her. What was her crime?
Being here. Her crime was being here, going through the process. I believe she was scooped up at court.
Yes.
Doing
yes,
the
this
right
is,
thing.
Yes.
Doing
yes.
what
This
MAGA wants her to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and then
infuriating.
it makes me so mad because when my wife gave birth to both of my kids, I was by her bedside. And even with proper medicine, pregnancy and delivering a child, it's still difficult as fuck.
Dangerous.
Highly dangerous. And you've been feeding this woman the substance that cockroaches eat. I can only imagine what that had to be like. Claire, the floor is yours because I'm getting worked up again because it's just, I have a soft spot for kids. I'm a person who's owned daycares and have worked with children my whole entire life. So old people and kids, all people really, but those two vulnerable groups, I really have a soft spot for. So Claire, floor is yours.
Aren't y'all supposed to be the Loraxes of the unborn?
I thought.
We speak for the unborn. We speak for the unborn. We speak for the unborn. No, you actually don't give a shit about any child unless they belong to your group, especially if they're brown, especially if the mother speaks Spanish, especially if the mother wears a hijab. Like, we can go on and on and on, especially if the mom has blue hair. Like, y'all have so many caveats to all of your rules. They're not rules anymore. There's no law that y'all will follow. There's no actual rule book because you rewrite it every other day to fit your racist, closed-minded agenda. And
so Claire, you're basically saying, let's just say rules and regulations and laws are one thing, but what about personal integrity?
Integrity and morality. Understanding that there are just boundaries you won't cross as a human being.
Exactly.
Regardless of where they're coming from. I mean, y'all can show me 1.5 million images of the Middle East or of Mexico or of any place where there's war and there's violence and they want to fearmonger and say, these are the people we don't want here. I will always recognize the children in those photos. I will always recognize the women in those photos. I will recognize the regular ass men who are civilians who are not a part of whatever violence or drama is going on. So no, I'm not going to let y'all justify bombing people. I'm not going to let y'all justify shutting the door in the faces of people who are running for their lives. Because that is just outside of my capacity as a human being. Regardless of any other circumstances, I have a certain value for human life. And they're the same people who want to call us murderers, or say that we support murderers, or however they want to phrase it. And it's like, I could not be further from that in terms of the way that I view human life and dignity, and the dignity, integrity, and respect that every single human being who comes, whether they're differently abled, whether they're woman, whether they're intersex, whether they're trans, I don't care. You're living, you're breathing earth here, and we share like 99% of our DNA. I'm going to advocate for you because I hope that you would do the same if I were running for my life. If I were getting bombs dropped over my head, I would hope that y'all would do the same. And that's what it comes down to, is understanding that we could all very well, in the snap of a finger, the click of a button, be in the same circumstances as all these people that MAGAs are villainizing.
Right. Facts. And I always try to end these nowadays. I'm Tabitha. by doing exactly what me and Claire have talked about in terms of trying to pierce the bubble of delusion that MAGA's in. And I always try to have some kind of a decent story. So MAGA, a lot of you all are lonely. Family has left you because you've gotten rid of the integrity you used to tell people you have, but you've allowed Trump to really uncover the fact that you don't have integrity. And he's made it cool for you to behave in that manner. But me being who I am in my education, I know deep down on the inside, you long for community. You long to belong in a social group because we are all humans and we are social creatures. If you want to go down the road to get out of this delusion, start thinking about how community can help you. 3 months ago, I didn't know either one of these women, neither one of them. 3 months later, because of good communion, we sit here having an informed, good conversation about the things going on in this country that are tearing communities apart. And it's up to you to start to see over and over again that fabric in us that wants to be social, you are allowing someone to step in place and tear it apart. And that's my story for the delusion of MAGA. Ladies, I've got another one that's going to hurt your feelings. Well, no. Let me take that back. By the way, subscribe, get the podcast, go check out Tabitha, go check out Claire. Their links are in the video description. My link's in there. The links to everything we do is under beacons.ai/politics of being black. This next story, ladies and gentlemen, is one that we've kind of covered in my We've Had It section, where we talk about the hypocrisy of MAGA women. And we just have to call this out. I have two highly educated, highly fashionable, highly good-looking, highly smart women on this panel today. And so it's going to be interesting to hear what they have to say about the gripes of another woman calling somebody else hypocritical. We'll get her back in a second, I hope. Calling someone else hypocritical and then losing something that is as precious as air breathing that a lot of people wish they could have. Take a quick look at this, and hopefully when we come back, we'll have Tabs back online.
Republicans' life-threatening pregnancy collided with Florida's abortion politics. Due in August with her first child, Representative Kat Cammack says doctors last year hesitated to treat her ectopic pregnancy. Go to the next slide. Cammack doesn't fault the Florida law for her experience. Instead, she accuses the left of scarring medical professionals with messaging that stress that they could face criminal charges for violating the law. Florida banned abortion after 6 weeks, and everybody has seen all of the headlines all around from Texas to Oklahoma to Florida, how serious they would be to physicians if they disobeyed this. And this little bitch could have had a moment where she spoke out about this and advocated for other women in her position. But instead, she blames the left.
Thank God we got Tab back, because I know she's about to. This is why I said get your jock straps on, MAGA. Get your helmet on, because it's going to hurt. And she should hurt you a little bit. Tabitha.
Listen.
That woman was one of the reasons why I gave you my I've had it today. Again, it bothers me so. The rules that you and the men you support put in place is why you couldn't have had your first baby. And then the audacity for you to try to spin cycle this in a broken ass washing machine that it's the Democrats' fault. Floor is yours, Tabitha.
Listen, and Florida is the worst. Okay, so I actually born and raised in Florida. I moved out of there like 5 years ago. Can't stay.
Oh no. Okay, that's
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, yes. We can see you. We got you. Oh, y'all, this is about to be so good.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Can you guys see me?
All good. Yeah, we can see you.
I'm so
all
sorry.
good.
There's like bad storms, so I'm having little technical difficulties. So my first career, my degree's in social work. My first career was working with pregnant and parenting teens in Florida. I also was on a maternal mortality review board and many other boards, okay? The law that this woman helped to co-author is going to kill women.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
And these women are not going to have the luxury of calling the governor and saying, hey, can you talk to these doctors and tell them that it's okay? They're not going to have that. Because I don't know if it was in that story. She called the governor to get permission to get the methotrexate.
Yep.
It's bullshit. So it's good for me, but not for thee. So you're watching women die. You're using women as incubators in Georgia. But hey, and then she goes on because she's pregnant with her second child right now and makes light of it on stage. Everything's measuring fine, making light of it. Oh my God, the way that it boils my blood, y'all have no idea. You have no idea. Like, and I know it does for women in general who are on the right side of history here. But for you to be able to call the people that you work with who helped you co-author this bill, who's putting women's life in danger, you're able to call them and you're okay. You're okay. You're not going to die because of your ectopic pregnancy. It's fine. I can't stand MAGA women. I can't stand MAGA women.
Claire, I did my homework on Tabitha. I already knew some of the things she mentioned, and I knew this one would get her blood boiling as much as mine because she's worked with kids, pregnant families, and I have my own personal story with my own kids that deals in this realm. I won't get into that today, but I knew this was going to bug her, and I knew we was going to get a fire educated response because of her background. And now, Claire, you haven't started going down the road of preparing to have a family yet. And so some women would even try to say, well, what do you know? You don't have kids. You're not about to have kids. But this is what I know. You have integrity, you have empathy, and you have rational thought and critical thinking. And having said that, the floor is yours now, Claire.
Here's what I know. And this is going to make people uncomfortable. And I hope it fucking does. I am under 25. Okay. When Trump got elected, you guys know what I did that first week? I made an appointment to get a foreign object inserted in my body that makes me go through extreme pain every month. But guess what? It lasts for 10 years. So until I'm in my 30s, I have a 99% chance most of the time of being child-free. So I know what it takes to even just prevent that stuff if you don't want to have kids, and the pain and the extra. I mean, God, I don't want to go into the details because it's disgusting, but it's tough. The decisions that women are having to make nowadays in order to protect themselves from, because, and I said that to actually one of my coworkers. I was like, yeah, I have this awful IUD and I hate it. It's the only one that's non-hormonal because I don't want my hormones to be messed with. And I was like, it's just the best option for me right now. And they were like, well, do you have a boyfriend? No. Well, are you really sexually active? Not really. They're like, so why do you have it? I'm like, women get pregnant all the time who don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to have to spell it out for you because it's an ugly word, but it's real. If I'm walking home one night and somebody decides that they want to do something, I'm not going to be the one caught in a red state with no access to care. I'm just not. But again, I have the insurance that allowed me to get that appointment really quickly. I don't think it cost me any money to get that installed. Like all of these different things, even with the resources I have, there's still risk. There's still fear. And I'm so done with women thinking that MAGA women thinking that they're the exception. Just like you said, calling up the governor. Yeah. So I'm still the exception, right? You like me, right? I'm pretty, right? You think I'm cute, right? I helped you with this. Come on, please. It's my life now. fuck you.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing for men to look the other way and say, I don't know what it's like to feel a cramp. I don't know what it's like to have a period. I don't know what it's like to give birth. But when you're a woman who has literally gone through the things that women are afraid of happening when it comes to planned pregnancies, let alone unplanned, and you're still doubling down every step of the way, going down with the ship, going down with no respect or integrity for yourself. And so it's just disgusting, because if anyone should get the struggle of having a reproductive system and being a woman in this modern hellscape, it should be this woman. It should be every woman. We should all get this. We should all fundamentally get this. I think every woman, and Tabitha, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is a crazy thing, I think every girl that I know has had a pregnancy scare, whether she had sex or not. I remember learning about sex in like middle school and being like, if I wipe, myself off with a rag that I don't know that someone might have used, am I going to become pregnant? The fundamental fear that women have had since the minute they got their period even before then, of what this would do to my life if this happened right now and what my options would be. And it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter if you even had sex. We all understand fundamentally the weight of what a pregnancy would do to your life, whether you go through with it and become a mother and don't put the child up for adoption or not. Just the pregnancy itself is so terrifying for most women. And then the MAGA women go and act like, well, if it happens and you were having sex, just go through with the pregnancy and put up for adoption. Like, it's just that easy. Like, it's not risking your life, risking your health for the rest of your life, risking sex, enjoying sex, how it's going to look, how it's going to be for the rest of your life. And I'm going to let Tabitha take over.
Yeah. So I'm going to agree with you a lot of that has to do with the lack of sex education that we as Americans have in schools. And when I ran that nonprofit, that's something that I did. I would go into the local high schools and juvenile detention centers and teach teen pregnancy prevention, right? But that funding got cut very quickly because it was a nonprofit, because they wanted to teach just abstinence in Florida. I was a teen mom. I had my son, and my son's 21 years old. I had my first son when I was in high school. Yeah, I have a 21-year-old son. I swear, he's in college. I have two 21-year-old sons. One I adopted.
Wait a minute. You just can't gloss over. I'm thinking you like 25, like Claire or something. There's no way you can be 25. Like, I'm like, whoa. What? Hey.
Hey, if you're
that Armenian
you age like
I'm listening all the time. That's why.
Hey, MAGA men, this is what education does for you, buddy. Education is the fountain of youth, MAGA men. Look at this chick over here gleaming. You would think that you see her with her son, you're going to think it's her brother. Sorry, Tab. We just had to get that in there.
Listen, one of my sons is 6'5" too, so you can't mess with me when I'm with my boys, okay? You cannot mess with me when I'm with my boys. But there's just a lack of education. And as like somebody, like I said, I was a teen mom. I had my son on my hip at my high school graduation. Because of the lack of education and the lack of resources. I also grew up in foster care, so I had not a lot of resources. So it's just, our country does a disservice to women from childhood. From the time they are little girls.
Yes.
We teach them to mask, right? We teach them that they have all these responsibilities on their shoulders. And then we also, if they do get pregnant, such as like somebody like myself in high school, we degrade them. We tell them they're going to be nothing. And part of what I did was say, hey, I know you're a pregnant teen, but guess what? You can still go to college. I did it. I'm living proof of it. You can still have a great career. You can still have a great life. Life is not over. You don't have to pander to the man that, the little boy that you got pregnant by in high school, right? So it's just this lack of education. And I'm so scared for young people, young girls especially, but young people in general, because the lack of healthcare for women affects everyone.
Yes.
It affects the little boys that are in college.
Yes.
Right? It affects everybody. And
Yes.
people don't understand that. Until it hits them and affects them, it's okay for me, but not for thee mentality. And like this lady calling up the governor and saying, hey, I have an ectopic pregnancy, which we all know is life-threatening. We all know is non-viable. Why does somebody have to call the governor to get health care for a non-viable clump of cells that could kill you? Please tell me.
It's not right. It is not right. And here I'm going to try to pierce the delusional bubble of MAGA women and men with a story. If there was, pick anything in your life that is against the law, MAGA men and MAGA women, that you feel like shouldn't be against the law, and you still do it. And I'll just pick on this group because nothing gets on my nerve more than this group faking online. You MAGA manosphere men that look good physically, but you're jacking your butt with steroids, but you're running around pretending like your ass is natural, and you all want that to be legal, right? You want that to be legal.
Right.
But the minute you get caught and you're facing fat time, all of a sudden now it's something wrong. It's something that you shouldn't have. Yeah. Imagine that happening to the average Joe, MAGA men, MAGA women. And then you have Congressman Doucheface, who's running all the federal programs for medicine, who does probably do steroids himself. He gets the worst tans I've ever seen. I've seen jack-o'-lanterns that look better than his tan. He is able to get caught with the same drug, make a phone call to someone, and get away with it. Like this bitch just tried to do. She put the law in place. She was able to make a phone call that the average person cannot pull out their bat phone and call any governor to circumvent the law. And you are allowing this to happen. It is not okay. Corrupt. And a lot of these laws they put in place because they know you can't circumvent it, but the rich and powerful can. MAGA women, stop giving your power away. If the same amount of MAGA men continue to vote against women issues, but you MAGA women jumped ship and voted on your issues, you will overcome those fucking MAGA men. Because these women have support from good brothers like me and others who have apathy for women. We wouldn't need to have apathy anyway because we was all born by a woman. We was all carried in a woman's belly, and a lot of us are married to women. So we hear and we understand and we live the plight. You MAGA men who are with women faithfully, do you want to see her sick? Do you want to see her have to go through undue atrocities when y'all could be using that time for vacationing, for making better memories down the road? I'll answer it for you. It's rhetorical. No, the fuck you don't. Having said that, we'll get to a Claire subject today, because I got to see how Tabitha is going to respond to something that's a Claire subject today. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe. All the links are in the video description. And if you feel like coming back tonight, I'm going to have another outstanding TikToker coming on with me tonight. Her name is Eliza. We're going to be covering what is going on in New York and this movement with my main man that just won the primary. And he ran on a populist socialist platform that I think can be used everywhere, because some of the same people that voted for Trump actually like Bernie and AOC, which tells me if you come out and you stand on your laurels and you're for the people, there is a place for you, and that is exactly what he did. So come back tonight and check us out. Now we'll get on to Claire's story. Claire sent me this clip, Tabitha. And I'm sorry I got jokes on this guy, but I do. This is JD Vance, and secretly I think he is closet. I think he goes home, dresses up in drag, everything that I had women say, and yeah, I do too. Yep, I do too. Call him smoky-eyed number 7, Maybelline. And if he wasn't so racist, he might wear Rihanna's makeup brand, but we know he ain't doing that shit. He done this, and Claire said, Lamont, you've got to let us see it. So here we go.
Washington, D.C., they have this thing where I think it means we're number one in Washington, D.C., but all the pink-haired people throw up this sign, and I think, that means we're number one, right? I choose to take that as that symbol in Washington.
Okay, so Tabitha, I'm gonna give it to Claire first so she can throw the lob up to you so you can slam it home. Claire, floor is yours, my sister.
So they've been saying make comedy legal again. Make comedy. Let comedy be comedy. Grow up, snowflakes. We'll be funny first. Recycling the same jokes for the last 10 years?
Oh my God.
Why do you
Claire, listen to this. Listen, you know why that works for MAGA? Because they're like children. My daughter can watch the same episode of Dora the Explorer literally from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. The same thing works for folks in the MAGA movement, but floor is yours.
So I've had pink hair. I have, in college, I had a nice little rose gold moment. It was cute as fuck. Who loved it? Who loved it was all the MAGA men. Okay. All of the football players thought that I was edgy and bold and, ooh, who is she? She doesn't give a fuck. And then JD Vance wants to use that as like a slur. One of them blue hairs, one of them pink hairs. It's like, I think it's really because we all know who's putting on pink wigs late at night in their wife's closet. I don't know. It's just a thought. All that to say, and the middle finger, the flipping off the audience, like, oh, that's so funny. What are we, 5 years old, talking about the Chinese middle finger? Like, what is this? It's truly, he understands how to market to his audience by, I think he must like have an elementary school kid on speed dial that he like calls up and he's like, yo, what are the kids saying these days? I forget. It's been a while, but like, what are some jokes? Do you have fart jokes for me? Do you have any like racist little one-liners that would just hit real hard? And then he goes and then he just like poops it out of his mouth to all the MAGAs. And they're like, oh, I haven't heard that one in years. It's like, yeah, because you were 8 years old the last time you laughed at it. Grow up. Go to an actual comedy show for once, please.
Please.
And it's because a lot of the MAGA people, their comedy it's
hate
down.
Yes.
They don't understand the art of masterfully playing around with tough subjects like gender, like race. They only see it as like, oh, I'm going to make fun of people. That's funny. And it's like,
Claire, they don't associate themselves with groups like that to understand what is funny to the groups versus what is talking down to them versus what is trash to the group. So they laugh at anything that belittles, demeans, is defamatory, or puts someone down. And literally the shit that they be saying usually is not funny in the first fucking place.
Oh, it's not funny. And so my high school was super bougie. I went to a boarding school. So that's a whole other thing. We have an whole episode about that. The culture shock from public school in DC to that. But we had it wasn't it was class, but oh no.
Keep going.
It wasn't a class.
You'll get back.
It was on MLK Day, we had like a symposium kind of thing, and a bunch of our teachers who had specialties in certain different things would give like a history lesson on MLK Day as a way because we weren't going to have the day off. We lived there. So they're like, oh, let's make something out of this. And one of them was race in comedy. And I had this hilarious history teacher who put together a bunch of clips of lots of different famous comedians talking about things like race, things like gender, and talking about it as a class from an intellectual perspective. What does this mean? Is it even funny? Is it okay for it to be funny? Are these people punching up? Are these people punching down? What's the precedent that this kind of language sends? And the conclusion a lot of times was know your audience and know your background, because when someone like Dave Chappelle, as controversial as he can be, comes on and makes fun of white people, it's always going to hit. Why? Because he's punching upwards. He's someone from the oppressed class making fun of the oppressor, which is always going to be funny. But then when it gets controversial and when people who are like us, who are progressives, are going to be like, yeah, that wasn't really a funny joke, is when someone like JD Vance wants to make a joke about Muslims, wants to make a joke about women, or wants to make a joke about Black people. And we all have the awareness and the consciousness to be like, that's kind of a taste, because you historically have a responsibility to understand your background and how it's going to be perceived by audience members, even if they want to think you're funny, even if they're predisposed to want to laugh. You got to know the complex layers and whether or not you are using your privileges to shit on people, or whether you're trying to make light of something that everyone kind of sees and it's just kind of funny. With that being said, fuck you, JD Vance. Number one, nothing.
Oh my God. No. We should rehearse that again, because I forgot to put the triple in there. Let's do it again. On 1, 2, 3.
Fuck you, JD Vance.
Now, Tabitha, you get to put your insight in here and your years of experience and work and dealing with social work. You're dealing with the sociality of communities. And when you hear JD Vance say this type of shit, what does that make you think? What does that invoke in you?
Honestly, it's just old and tired. It's old and tired. We're sick of it. I can't tell you how many people are like, I'm surprised your hair's not blue. Where's your septum ring? Like, that is the most used comment by MAGA in my comment section is, where's my septum ring and why isn't my hair blue? Like, motherfucker, I could turn my hair blue if that's going to make you feel better. Okay? If that's going to make you feel better, I can dye my hair blue. It's so old, it's so tired, it's so uneducated. He's trying to be funny. And if I had to be real, I think he's trying to piggyback off of when Trump said that, Iran and Israel had no fucking idea what they were doing, because he did that following that statement. So he was just trying to be bold and funny too. He wanted to be like daddy. Like, I am so fucking done with the tired old shit that these people talk about. Like,
their lips are brown. Their lips are brown from the ass kissing. It's crazy.
It's actually they're orange from the ass kissing. Let's
right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm done.
Y'all giving them too much credit. Their lips and their faces are not brown. Their whole damn head is dripping with Donald Trump's stomach acids because they way up his butt. That's how far up his butt they are, that they got damn stomach juices all over their face. That's how far up the butt they is.
Not the stomach juices.
Oh, stomach juices now. Oh yeah. They are being digested by Donald Trump. That's all the MAGA. Okay, y'all gotta keep it 100 now. Y'all look. You come up here, you can let go on my show. Let go on our show. That's what we like to do here. And so, Tab, we just got one more thing for you. And first of all, on behalf of both of us, thank you so much for coming. It's been an honor, honestly. When I found out what you did, I was like, we've got to have her. Claire was co-signing with me. We knew it'd be a good time, and we hope that in the future, maybe one day we can get back together and we can collab with you sometime. But Claire had one more thing she wanted to cover. And I tell Claire, as a Black person, when there's a white guy that does something I like, I'll claim him. But when there's a white guy that doesn't do nothing I like, I give him to y'all. He's y'all people. So she's got a white guy that I'm giving all to y'all. And let me pull this up for you. And I'll give you first dibs on
I don't want
Claire. Don't do it, Claire.
Go take taxis.
Y'all don't even know who it is. It could be one of the hot Republicans. It could be
There's no hot Republican. You couldn't pay me enough, okay? No.
Golly, MAGA, I tried. So let me put this up with y'all most common douchebag, okay? The douchebag that has been up so many vaginas, he can't even come to Magic City in ATL. Here we go. Charlie Kirk had big things to say about the victory in New York. And when, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, as Rush Limbaugh would say, do not doubt me, fat ass. Do not doubt me. When they project in this way, they're scared. And look at his projection. Charlie Kirk tweets, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. How hypocritical is that? I'm gonna give it to you first, Claire, but let me just say this. How fucking hypocritical is that when the group of people who have always been the top threat to the country are white nationalists? Secondly, the group of people who are destroying the country right now as we sit here are Bible-thumping Christian white nationalists. Floor is yours, fucking hypocrite. Not Claire. Charlie, cut him in the butt, Kurt.
So, using his words, let's just be very, very, very clear. That the Muslims that attacked the United States in 2001, and y'all, please correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure they weren't socialist.
No.
In fact, they were extremists. They represent extreme conservatism
and religion. The extremes. Yes.
So, no, you all actually resemble those people way more than a brown socialist who is an American.
Yes.
It's so funny because the only time that I hear MAGA Republicans talking about women's rights are when they want to talk about how, well, you could have it worse.
Yeah.
You could be in a country where you can't drive. It's like, oh, great. Got it. So y'all are feminists when it comes to putting Christianity above other Abrahamic religions.
Or when it comes to putting their dicks in women.
Right. Or when it comes to splitting the bill because you're a broke bitch. All of a sudden you're a feminist. But then when I want to talk about, hey, actually, would it be okay if I get paid the same amount as you for doing the same job? They're like, shut up, woman. I'm like, oh my God. Y'all don't realize the very people that you fear the most, the immigrants coming from the South, the immigrants coming from the East, the immigrant, whoever's coming here to try to attack us, who's brown, y'all are always the first people to say they're going to hurt our women and they're oppressing women. And it's like, it's such a fucking scam because we know that you don't care about women. You're just using it so that you can also empower racists and people who are Islamophobic and extremely Christian to the point that they don't want anyone else in America to be able to practice anything other than very, very conservative Christianity, very, very rigid and non-Christ-like Christianity. So all that to say, again, it's tired. I'm fucking yawning. Get something new. Come up with something new. Like, this has been going on since I was born. I grew up in the DC area right post 9/11. My sister was in the Pentagon on 9/11. My sister is a 9/11 survivor.
Wow.
Right. My dad.
Your twin sister.
My older sister.
Okay.
The one that I live with.
Gotcha.
She is a survivor of 9/11. She was like 2 or 3 years. She was 2 years old. She was in the Pentagon Daycare Center because my dad moved out of the Pentagon because he worked in national intelligence 6 months before the plane hit.
Wow.
And knew some people who died in that attack. All that to say, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be fucking racist towards Muslim people or Islamophobic, because I know it's like if I'm not a Christian, but let's say that I were like a very progressive Christian, like a Protestant, and someone were to try to say, oh, so you're like, that Christian who blew up a synagogue. It's like, whoa, Whoa, no. Can we understand that there's range? Can we understand that every single person that subscribes to a certain thought or thought process, ideology, religion, whatever it is an individual? And so it just shows that they're racist and that they're not willing to accept diversity of thought, diversity within groups, because they want to put people in boxes that are so rigid. And it's like, y'all are very welcoming and kind when it comes to looking within your own group, but you don't understand that there's diversity within groups, between groups, and that's what makes America great. That's what makes America such a fascinating social experiment, that we can even get along at all with so many different people from so many different backgrounds. And y'all want to homogenize us? Why? It's weird. And y'all sound, when you do that, like the very people, the very extremists, the very religious extremists that you love to scapegoat and say, let's go bomb them because of their extreme conservatism and anti-woman sentiments. Hypocrisy.
Tabitha, last word goes to you. And I'll say this to kind of just reply to something Claire said. It all resides, Claire, in that they want to remain the group in power. That's where it all resides. And they use every dirty tactic they can to dissuade people's mind so that they can feel like they are the knights in shining armor, when really they are the gutter rats that keep stealing all the cheese. Floor is yours, Tabitha.
Listen, first of all, Charlie Kirk has no ground to stand on with those gums and those Tic Tac ass looking teeth. Okay, I am so done with this man and his racist ass rhetoric. Did you guys see him going to the high school talking to the 14-year-old girls? Listen, that is disturbing.
We did a video on that.
Disturbing.
2 days ago.
It's disgusting. This man doesn't have a leg to stand on. Him and his pandering ass wife. I am disgusted with all of them. I am so excited to see that New York stood on business and understood it was time for a progressive to take over. We're done. It's not politics as usual. We're done with decorum. We're done waiting. We are done. It's time for progressive politics to come front and center. And to Claire's point, you are not going to use the same early 2000s tactics on us. We are critical thinkers. We see the whole picture. We don't put people in boxes. And that is the issue with MAGA and their movement, is they are so hate fueled. They, like you said, they want to put people in boxes, but they're okay. They're okay as the white men, the white Christians are the ones shooting up our kids in the schools, right? As the white men are in here shooting up churches. They praise fucking Kyle Rittenhouse, that little, you know what I'm saying? So you can't talk about another country's extremists when you praise your religious extremists on a daily basis and don't hold them accountable for their actions. I am done with all of them. And Charlie Kirk is just gross.
He's nasty. This is what y'all want to put on your platform as your high value man.
Like, that's your best of the best for a high value man. Like, miss me, 4B is easy over here. It's a easy 4B movement over here.
Easy.
Like, listen.
Easy.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that he wouldn't even fit y'all fancy even after 2 glasses of wine and 3 beers?
Listen,
I'd have to be
2 bottles of
unconscious.
wine and 4 beers.
Dead. I gotta be dead in the right. Even if I'm unconscious and I smell the breath coming from those gums, in a mile radius of me, it's like when they do that, they take that little thing and you're passed out. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna. I better be under the ground, no pulse, dead for a day before that man could even touch me. Because
ladies and gentlemen, I've never heard this before. Your dead body can have rigor mortis again if Charlie Kirk gets next to it and smiles.
I'm coming back. I'm Jesusing myself if Charlie Kirk tries to touch my corpse. You are not.
Wow.
Nope. Even in death, that bitch is
absolutely not.
Literally.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please leave us all your comments. Subscribe to both of these ladies. Our guest today was Tabitha. Tabitha, thank you so much for coming. Please impart a little wisdom on my crowd and some of yours who are listening on what you got coming on your channel and what they can look forward to.
Yeah, so I have a TikTok. That's my platform. It grew really quickly. I just started it one day to vent my frustrations, and here we are now. I do a show twice a day with my friend Missy. It's called TBH, Two Brunette Hosts. And we're just like your political besties. We talk about everything. We have a good time. We do 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the evening around 7 o'clock. But yeah, you find me on TikTok. All I can say is just be a good human. Just be a good human. Care about others. In MAGA, critical thinking is super duper important. Like, I know y'all might not have read a book since you were in like high school, but it's super important that you do. Okay?
Please go watch that show. I've caught it a couple of times, and I've been allowed to comment in here and there, and I try to poke fun at them. Sometimes I get up there and pretend to be a MAGA man. I think I'm gonna start teasing them and being MAGA male Mont, just to push them. Yeah, MAGA male Mont. Just so, and I might go get the shades and get me a big old wig. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be a 1970s black Republican and just push the.
Let me tell you though, I have limited. I've almost completely stopped platforming MAGA. I don't debate them anymore. I refuse to debate them. I get the same 3 talking points. If I have to talk about men and women's sports, which is like 0.001% of the population, if that, if I have to talk about the motherfucking border one more time, I'm not doing it. So I don't even platform them anymore. It's literally kind of like what you guys do. And we just bring people up as they want to come up because MAGA has no place in my space anymore.
And if they don't know how to critically think, which hardly any of them do, why have a debate with these people? We just said, we gave you guys the definition of delusion and what you have to do in order to debate with someone who's in a delusion. And ain't nobody got time for that. As Sweet Brown would say, I ain't got time for that. No. So ladies and gentlemen, post us all your comments. Please go check them out. All of our links you can find under one recipe under this link right here. That is beacons.ai/politics of being black. There you'll find the ClaireMont Show. You'll find me. You'll find my TikTok. You'll find our TikToks. You can find everything you want and stay informed. Tabitha, thank you so much. We will certainly have you back again.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time with you guys. You guys are hilarious.
we try to bring the fire as best we can, and thank you. And be on the lookout because you know we're going to be posting these on our channel for everybody to see your beauty, your grace, your intelligence, and MAGA's male's worst nightmare. Till that next Sex is Hell video, we're out.